know, for most of my life, I've been fascinated with the idea of aviation, especially military aviation, and the aircraft involved with that endeavor, with that institution. The one that I'm standing beside right now is a derivative of the F80ShootingStar, which was the very first jet-powered fighter plane in the Air Force inventory. It came online sometime in mid-1945, just before the end of the Second World War. This particular version is a T-33A trainer. It was the last derivative of this particular type of aircraft. As a photographer, one thing that I want to do is to capture the essence, the history, the styling, of these airplanes. I want to do justice to those things. I don't want to just take snapshots of them. So what we're going to explore today is how do you take photographs of something that's historical like this and make it appear to be something more than just a static display. And so come and join me once again beyond the campfire for possibly one of the most fascinating adventures we're going to have as we explore how to capture the history and the essence of one of the most amazing aircraft that ever came along in the Air Force history. Now, as in all kinds of photography, it doesn't matter what you're taking pictures of, lighting is the key ingredient. So we're going to look at different ways of how we're going to capture this aircraft using artificial light. We're going to use 4 different speed lights. We're going to use them in such a way to make it look like we have 8 different ones that are being used. A little trick, a little technique to it. Stay with us, and we're going to kind of show you how we did that. Okay, we're going to look at how we actually set up the lights for this particular shoot. I have a diagram down here. We have a top view and we have a front view. We used 4 different speed lights and we used them in 2 different setups so that we could get 2 different photographs that we could blend into one. The first setup was to illuminate the underside of the aircraft. So we placed one speed light right here on this wing, and we placed one right here on this wing. We clamped them right to the wing. We used a simple little device like this, a little piece of foam board with a hole cut in it, and the speed light just kind of slipped right in there, and then the clamp just went right on here, and I just clamped it right to the wing like so. It was very simple, very easy to use. It worked very well. So we had 2 lights, one here and one here. On both of these lights we put a red gel on them, and that gave us that beautiful red light that we see in the finished picture. And the idea behind those was to create a bubble of light right underneath both wings here, just like that. Our third light was we set one here in the front, just in front of the fender well, or the wheel well, and it was shooting down and back in a sort of an oblique angle that kind of created a bubble of light, something along that line. This was a white light. This was white. These were red. And then we also put one light here on a stand, and it was kind of shooting back this way. But this one was pretty ineffective. It really didn't do anything. Technically, we really didn't need it. And so that gave us our first light, or our first photograph. The camera's in the front. It's on a tripod. Once we had the exposure set, the composition made, all the lights set the way we wanted to, and we got that the finished first photograph, we just left everything alone. Then we removed all of the flashes. Flashes are no longer there, and we repositioned them. And we put one just outside the wing here on a tripod. Right over here, we put another one just outside the wing, right here, just out of camera range, right in there. And they were shooting back this way, and they were kind of illuminating the front part of the top and the front part of the fuselage. They were sitting kind of one like right in here and one like right in here, and they were shooting back this way, like so. Then we also put one just behind the wing, right here. And we put another one just behind the wing right about here. And they were set just high enough so they were directly behind the wing, and the wing itself actually blocked the view of the flash so that it didn't register as a bright light on our camera. And using this as a reference, they would be positioned somewhere right along in here, and then one right along in here, and they were shooting back this way like this. And they kind of illuminated the top half, top side, and the canopy and things like that on our shoot. We had to make a few adjustments on the light powers, the speed light power settings, but once we got that set, we were fine. We used the same camera settings. We didn't touch the camera. We didn't change anything, and that's how we did our light setup. Okay, that we've had both pictures that were made, and we're going to blend them into one photograph. So we've got them downloaded into the laptop. We've got picture 1 here, picture 2 here. Right now I've got picture 1 sitting up, and as you can see, we've got the red lights here bouncing off the tarmac. We've got the white light there in front, but the top half of it is basically dark. You really can't see any detail in that at all. I'll bring up the second image now. Okay, and you can see that it's lit a little more cleanly. It has a lot more light on the top half of it, and of course it's a lot brighter down here. So the object, what we want to do is to take this image and blend it with the first image to create a new image. So the way you do that is we want to do a select all, and you get the dancing lines around the frame. Then we open up go back to here. Then you go edit, and you do a copy. Okay, then you go to the first image, and you got it there, and then you want to go to edit again and do a paste. The paste now is to set it right on top of that first image, and you see we've got another layer over here. So the idea then is to remove everything off of this top layer to expose what's underneath it. And the way we do that is to use an eraser tool. So we're going to click here, and I'm going to use a eraser tool that's got kind of a hard edge to it on this first one, and I'm going to run that up to roughly about 800 or so. And as you can see, I've got a little bit of a kind of a circle cursor there. And the idea then is just to remove everything on the bottom here that you don't want showing, or that you want to expose what's underneath it. So you just click and hold the mouse down, and you just move that cursor around. You be careful to leave what you don't want to erase anything that you want to keep. And it doesn't take very long with a large one like that. So voila, now we have what's exposed underneath, and the top half is also exposed. Technically, you could just stop right here. That would probably work very well. But I do know that there's some interesting detail on the bottom half of this front part of the fuselage here, on the chin part of it. So we're going to try to expose that. We're going to get another brush tool, one with a softer edge on it, and we're going to run it up to about 250 or so. That's good right there. And I'm going to change the opacity of that as well down to about, say 90% or so. And then I'm going to start working on this bottom half of this, kind of right in here like so. Right in there about like that. That should be about right there. And the reason I used a soft edge one is so that you have sort of a natural transition from the dark area to the lighter area there. When you're finished with this part of it, it's just a matter of flattening everything into one. And now from this point on, you can do any kind of edit you want. You can do color correction or sharpening or whatever you might would like to do with it. And that's how we blend two images to create one.